because you're thinking that all of the things that you do is who you really are, and that's not true. Those things that you do, those gifts and talents that you have are not who you really are. Hi ladies out there, so this is your girl Kimberly with another video to help you to know who you are, love who you are, and be who you are. Well, speaking of being who you are, that's what today's video is especially about. It's about how to discover who you really are. So I'm going to start off with a story. I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were just talking about the gifts and talents that God had blessed me with, you know, growing up, and even using them a lot in my adult life. And I told them, I said, you know, even though I was doing those things and I was doing what everybody wanted me to do with those gifts and talents, I lost sight of who I really am. And so the other person was like, well, aren't your gifts who you really are? And something just rose up inside of me. I said, no, your gifts are not who you really are. Your gifts are tools that you use to express who you really are. And after I said it, I was kind of taken back, like, whoa, that had to have been straight from God, because it was so profound. And it's true. Although I was operating in those gifts and talents and stuff and doing what everybody else wanted me to do and losing the dreams and goals that I initially had on how to use those gifts and talents, I lost sight of who I am. And so I said, okay, well, who am I? So in the last couple of months or so, I just really been meditating on that, discovering me. And I went all the way down to when I was a little girl, when I first started using those gifts and talents, and what my intention was for operating in them. And I realized a common thread. Okay. Now, as a little girl, I wanted to be really good in my gifts and talents because I wanted to someday meet Michael Jackson and marry him, right? And so as I grew out of that, I started looking at the boys that were my classmates and stuff, and I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute, or, you know, I would use my gifts and talents to try to get their attention. Right? Try to show off, to make myself look good. I didn't have, you know, a lot of the looks and everything. You know, I had a serious glow up for real. But I didn't have the looks, the hair, the money, you know, to wear like the latest fashions like everybody else had. We were poor. So all I had was my personality, my goofiness, my gifts and talents, and I did well in academics to get attention from my teachers. So anyways, but the main thing was trying to win a heart of a boy, or as I grew older, like in high school and college, a young man. So I noticed that common thread throughout. And I said, okay, well, that happened when I was in school. I was distracted trying to get my MRS degree instead of focusing on what my degree really was. And although that's a whole nother story, because in hindsight, I realized that's not the major that I really wanted to major in. I was just kind of taught into it, you know what I mean? So we'll talk about that in another video. I discovered even as an adult, I use my gifts and talents to try to impress coworkers, you know, coworkers that, you know, these men were like fine. And I was like, yo, I'm going to get with him, you know. So I was like, how do I glow? How do I show the best side of me using my gifts and talents, right? And so whenever I had a moment where I wasn't my best in my gifts and talents, or I'll put it this way, if I did not get that attention from whomever I had a crush on, I felt like I wasn't good enough in those gifts and talents. That was part of it. Other things too, you know, hearing wrong voices and saying you're not good enough, or other voices saying you're so great and we want to use you for this and this and this and this and this. And all of this was not what I wanted to do. And, you know, but I wanted to please people. So I thought about all of that, and I said my common thread was that I was doing it to try to get love. And it all started and stemmed from me desiring to get that love and attention from my dad, who was like in and out of my life. And so there was no consistency in our relationship, and I craved that love from him. And I started looking to my big brothers before I even started looking at boys and stuff in school. I looked to my brothers to fill that void, but as each of them grew and left the nest and began to have their own families, that wasn't there anymore. And so that's when I started looking for love in all the wrong places and using those gifts and talents to try to manipulate love into my life that I was craving for. And so I was just like, wow, that's who I was the whole time. And notice I said was. But as I began my relationship with God, I began to understand more, and I'm still learning, to be honest, even today. I'm learning more and more of who I really am. And, I had to go to my creator to find out, okay, God, why did you create me? You're the one that created me, and you created me for your purpose. So who am I really? And so even beyond my purpose, I am first God's daughter, whom he loves so very much. And so are you that's watching this. A lot of times I know people out there that's listening to this, you're thinking that all of the things that you do is who you really are. And that's not true. Those things that you do, those gifts and talents that you have are not who you really are. Those are gifts and talents that God gave you to make room for who you are, to express who you really are, to, be used for the kingdom, okay, for whatever reasons, or just be used in the world to make an impact in some way. It may not always be ministry. Maybe God wants you to do something outside of ministry, but still make a huge impact for the better good of people, to service to people, right? So I'm asking you this question today. Do you know your true motives, your true intentions on why you do what you do? Why did you choose that job? Why did you choose that major? Why did you choose to use your gifts in that way? And really ask yourself why. Now, some of you may be using those things for really good purposes, right? And if you are, you're on the right track, right? But if you realize that your intentions are not pure, or they're not in service to others in some way, and it's really to put attention on you, ask God to show you that. And that's where true healing begins. You can't heal anything that you don't know the root cause of the pain, right? So in order to heal from, bad or wrong intentions, you need to discover what is that root of that intention. What do I need to heal from? In my case, I needed healing from rejection. I felt rejected by my father. I felt not loved enough. And I had to realize that God is my father. He's the father of fathers, and I am his daughter, and I am deeply loved by him. Okay. Once I got that, then healing began to take place. I began to love who I am, because I realized that I wasn't a mistake. I realized that I'm more than my gifts and talents. And the creator of the entire universe, the one that hung the stars in the sky, he loves me. He knows who I am, and he calls me daughter. So with that being said, that began the whole healing. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm hoping that as you're listening to this, that you are rediscovering some things about yourself and about your God that created you. He does have a good plan for your life. Don't give up. But you first got to know who you really are, so that when God brings you to those opportunities, you don't destroy those opportunities if you haven't healed from some things, okay? So ladies, I have started a weekly blog, And if you want to receive that weekly blog, make sure that you go to the link below to sign up to receive those each and every week, so you can get that motivation, you know. And I usually put the blogs out on Fridays, so like most people, they work Monday through Friday, so the weekend you have a chance to read it and not rush through it, and really have time to really selah on it, chew on it, to meditate on it. And so that Monday you can go forth and take in the actions that you need to take based off of what you've learned from the blog. Also, I am starting a mentorship, and the mentorship is going to help you to know who you are, love who you are, and live out and be who you really are, so you can really thrive in life. Yes, I'll be putting these videos out too, but in the mentorship, I will be able to really go step by step strategically on some things that has worked for me or for others that I believe will bless you. I'll be doing some Q&As, a lot of Q&As for those that's in the mentorship. And it's going to be not just about, you know, your gifts and talents, your career and stuff like that. It's going to be every aspect of knowing and loving and living who you are. We're going to be talking about relationship tips. We're going to be talking about glow up tips. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about all kind of things that girls and women love to talk about, so they can be a better them, yet being who they are and not trying to be like somebody else. Okay. So that mentorship is going to start very soon, so I want to make sure that you get the notification of when it drops. It's going to be very soon. It's going to be next month, in fact. So make sure that you sign up to receive the information about the mentorship ASAP. Now, if you're watching this a month later, then I will have the links to how to join the mentorship. So I know it's going to bless you. I could just feel it. And, you know, more and more women and girls are going to really be themselves and love it. And it's going to be great. If you like this video, be sure to click that like button. Be sure to share it with other girls and women that need this message today. And be sure to subscribe if you're not already, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video drops. All right, so that's all for today. And don't forget to be you, Tifo. All right, you all be blessed.